Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
It's a house!
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, look at that. I got the dog cam going, but Clancy is hiding away in his little cave. You can see his head there. But I got the dog cam running. The only problem with the reason I'm not showing Benny and let's see. Benny and Gracie both got both got fixed, you know, like spayed and neutered. So now all four of them aren't, they're just, I mean, they're still, I guess, a female dog or whatever, but they just, two of them are and two aren't. So they're got the little cone on their head and they're just kind of quiet in the corner. But somehow Benny got his off, so I had to put it back on. That's always a challenge, you know, crazy. Also, something I was going to say is, you know, I've been doing this show for, you know, God, I don't know, 7 years now. 2000, I mean, even like 2017, late in 2017, I was doing live streams. So that's like, you know, 7 years plus. And, you know, back at the beginning, you know, I guess, you know, the economy was pretty good and everything, and then we had the pandemic, and for some reason during the pandemic, it seems like everybody was doing better. I mean, it's really weird, but during that time, you know, people were there was all these people that were always supporting my channel. And a lot of those people, and when I say supporting, I mean like, you know, every night would send a few dollars or more than a few dollars, you know, like we would just be able to, you know, we did amazing things. Like one year we donated $60-something thousand out of my income to various, whole bunch of charities, and that went through and did, you know, we're up to 251,000. But there's a lot of people that, you know, they still watch every night, but their finances are such that they aren't able to support the channel anymore. And I don't want people, you know, there's people out there, you know, when you make comments like, well, some people just don't want to, you know, I mean, the thing is some nights I feel like that, but I know it's not like rational. You know, those people were always there supporting the channel all the time for years and years and years. And I don't want anybody to make them feel bad like that. I mean, when I'm on my show and I'm saying, hey, everybody, if you could please help support the channel, I'm not saying, you know, like, you know, people that can't afford it to just somehow, you know, break into their piggy bank and send something over. I'm really just talking to the people that like my channel and have the ability to do that, all right? But I don't want the comments in there, in the chat, stuff like, you know, you know, like some people, let's see, I don't know how to say it. They say like people don't They just are like freeloaders. I mean, that's a ridiculous comment, you know. You know, and maybe sometimes people say that because they can see how I'm feeling. You know, like today is a perfect example, right? I put out a video, a 4-hour video on the Delphi case, and not one person supported the channel on that. Then I made a video recently today, and it's only got, you know, like 1,200 views. I mean, it's horrendous. You know, you can't make it on that. And then now we're doing this show. Okay, so today, as a whole, my channel's at 0, where it didn't used to be like that, but I know it's hard now. But I want, you know, the people that have money, don't try to make the other, you know, people that don't feel bad, okay? Because I know there's a lot of people that are always helping support the channel all the time, over and over and over and over again. And that's what's allowed us to do all the great things that we've done. We have a DNA fund, for example, that we've put over $100,000 in, and we're identifying Jane and John Does. And these are all things that are going to go away. You know, somehow we aren't able to generate more people or more, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but that's the reality of it, you know. And but I don't want the people that, there's a lot of people that have been supporting all the years, over and over and over again, and I don't want them to feel bad. You know, any amount is awesome. You know, like if we had 100 people do $2.50, we would reach the goal every single night. You know, but that's never the way it works. There's always somebody that sends 20, and somebody does 10 and 5s and 2s and 3. You know, and then miraculously sometimes somebody will send in 100 and we'll just get there. You know, and, you know, it used to be easier. It's different now. I think it's just the economy and things like that. But I know that there's some people that feel bad with, you know, I know that you want to support the channel. You just can't at this time. All right. I know there's many people like that. They're on like budgets and things, and I don't want to take any of that from any of them. All right. If helping my channel affects your life in any way, like in a negative way, like, oh man, I can't buy it, do never send anything in if it does that. All right. Take care of yourself first and all that, and if you have, you know, you want to support after that, that's great. All right. I know that I get, it just feels strange after all the years when we're giving and giving to get to a point where it's hard to find, even on my end, at the end of the month, right? So that's why I'm so like, hey everybody, if you could help support the channel, because there's a certain amount I need just to keep the lights on, if you will, and then after that, that's where I'm able to give away. All right, so I don't know. Some nights I get frustrated, and I don't know how else to say it. I get frustrated, and I feel like my work is at least as good as anybody else out there. The amount of time it takes to make these 3D models that I build, the going out to the area twice, filming with my 360-degree camera strapped to the top of my car, driving around, you know, doing all these different things. And I think I've analyzed the case data better than anybody else, even the networks, all those guys. They just give you the little hot little take, the little quick little point, and I'll give you what is actually saying and what we're looking at here. All right. So that's where the difference is, except, you know, I don't have the guests that those guys have on, etc. You just get me most of the time using my own brain and thinking through these cases. And I think I'm just as good as any of those people. And I actually think I'm better than almost like 99% of the people that cover this case. Now you might go, oh, that's so arrogant, you know, but I'm just telling you, when I watch it, I just go, oh, that's a mistake, that's a mistake, that's a mistake, that's a mistake, nobody's going to correct it, that's a mistake, that's a mistake, nobody's going to correct it. That's all I'm saying when I watch them. So that's how I know that. All right. So anyways, tomorrow we're going to be doing the, covering the live stream of the hearing. All right. And we don't really have 2,683 people watching. Let's see. Oh, I did want to, I guess there was people here that, thanks Flo, Joe, and Robin, and Jeanette, And Charlena, thank you. All right. Right. I mean, if you gotta focus in on your own finances, and focus in on your own finances. Don't. I know that it comes across like I'm pressuring, like, oh, and there's nights where the truth is, if I'm doing a 3-hour show and I'm an hour and a half in and nobody seems to be supporting the channel, it's worth it for me to stop the show and actually make a video or something that I can put out tomorrow, and maybe that'll garner something. That's the thing. People go, oh, Gray just quit the show because it's just common sense business. Like if you had a food truck, for example, and you prepared all this food and you get out there and you're giving, people are, they get the food, but there's no revenue coming in. And then after, let's say you had a food truck that you only relied on the tips, but you gave away free burritos. And let's say there was a night that you're sitting there, and an hour and a half in, you've given away 100 burritos, but had 0 tips from anybody. Would you keep giving away the burritos for the rest of the night, or would you go figure out some other way to do something? That's kind of the way it is. I mean, it's kind of a shitty analogy with the food truck, but that's best I can do. Hey, thanks, Dixie. Anyways, tomorrow is the sentencing. So what the hell do you think's going to happen tomorrow? I mean, I think it could be very, like, just a lot of drama in there. I actually think, the weird part about it is, I think if the Chapins were there, I think Miss Chapin would probably have been really the most just absolutely going after Kohberger. Isn't that weird? I mean, even though she's the one that's saying, yeah, look, we just need to move on, if she was there, I think she would absolutely go off on him. But I think it's going to be like Steve Gonzalez. Hey, thanks so much, Nancy. Yeah. So, but I also want to say I apologize if I make people feel like, oh man, Gray, I feel like I don't want to watch because he keeps trying to raise the funds, or try to get super chats. But that's just what the show relies on, or I could make videos. That's kind of where the difference is. So I don't want you to feel like that. Just realize if you're somebody that doesn't have the means, I'm probably not talking to you. All right. Your words just get misinterpreted by some people. I understand you now, and I think you're fantastic. Oh, well, thanks. You understand me now. All right. Is that fishing in the dark right there? All right, today there was actually one document that came out. It says, I can actually edit these screens. It's kind of cool. Let me see what happens if I edit this. Hold on a second. I think I can move it up to where I'm up here and then save it, right? Is that going to work? So I have to go to that. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I didn't realize there were these little custom windows you could make over there. It's pretty cool. Oh, there goes my stomach. So this says, comes now the state of Idaho by and through Latah County prosecuting attorney and moves this court for an extension of the no contacts order previously entered herein, preventing defendant from having any contact with the victims pursuant to Idaho Code 18920. This motion is based on the fact that defendant has now entered guilty pleas to all offenses. Well, why would you want him to talk to them before the guilty plea? Like, why is that the thing? The current no contact orders expire on January 5th, 2027, and the state respectfully requests that they be extended for an additional 99 years. Yeah. I'll tell you what, he's going to be pretty old when he gets out of prison, huh? Wow. Right. So what do you think? I think that, though, if the family wants to talk to him, they would, right? Like, let's say the family there's no contact order on Kohberger's part, but can't the family communicate with him? Yeah, I mean, like, it seems like, let's say Steve Gonzalez says, yeah, I'd like to come in and meet with Bryan Kohberger. I think he can go that direction, but then Kohberger can't then try to contact them outside of that. What do you guys think? Well, I mean, well, they should be able to. The whole thing about all these rules are so stupid. How come there's a rule that says that when somebody's pleading guilty, you can't force them? I understand the word force. I mean, what does that mean? What is the definition of force somebody to give out the details? What does that mean, the word force them to? You mean you can't hold the plea hostage? Because that's crap if you can't. I mean, that's the stupidest law I've ever heard in my life. If the person really wants to plead guilty, there should be no problem with them sitting down and revealing all the facts of the case, right? Hey, thanks, Flo Joe. Yeah, oh, looks like my camera's like moving all over the place. I'm not sure I like the quality of this camera, but it's just really weird. Just kind of like you can't lock it in. And maybe there's a way to do it. I need to figure that out. Like I could go like go over. That's kind of cool how it does that. You know, but every once in a while I'll just zoom right in and all of a sudden it's just my eyeball on the screen. Yeah. You probably don't want to just look at my big eyeball. With yeah, I saw the Olivia Gonzalez. Yeah, she is. I've communicated with her a couple of times on Facebook. She's very like incredibly articulate. I mean, really sharp person. I don't know why that RFK is in there. Where's there an RFK? Where is it? My card expired. I hope I have to start over a new membership. Happened once to me years ago. Yeah. I mean, if anybody wants to come on and talk about what their thoughts are about this, you're welcome to do so. I can add a let's see, I'll put this link in there. And there you go, there's the link, and I'm going to pin it so it's pinned in the chat. All right, so you can go ahead and if you feel like calling in and saying what you think about this, that'd be great. Have a discussion. Thanks, Sandy Shirley. Love you. Gray. Even some entertainment sites that are not misleading lost support in a huge way. You're the absolute best. Well, I don't know I don't know what. Some things I get a lot of support. Like a video I put out the other day got, yeah, I mean, sometimes they get 20,000 views, sometimes 90,000 views. It's my live streams. There's just so many people live streaming. You know, I used to do live streams and there was like 3 of us in the true crime community. Now there's 400 people. Oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. And they haven't put in the work. They haven't done anything, but they take these shortcuts because they have connections to these larger entities. And it's just very, you know, discouraging. I mean, the amount of work it takes to get 10,000 subs to a normal YouTuber is very difficult. If you've got those little connections, they just, you know, you get 10,000 in a week. It's wild. Hey, look at that. Banana 88 is 2 months. Cool. Yeah, so that was on News Nation, right? The interview with Kaylee's sister, Olivia. Her name is Olivia, and then Olivia. Yeah, she's been mentioned. The creator named Olivia with an O. She's been mentioned in 2 books now. It's just like, what? I mean, it's wild. And there's some people that have been mentioned many times, you know, that deserve to be mentioned in the negative context that they've been mentioned in. Let's see. It's changed my name. This is Shay Shay. Hey. Oh, it's Shay Shay. Okay, cool. Let's see. Do I like that one? Yeah, this. You like this one better or this one? Because it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been cool if Biden had come forward and said, "Hey, Kohberger, you know, they need to get the information for the families there." You know, so any president, you know, but it was cool that, you know, it was cool that Trump said that, even if you don't like him, right? I mean, at least he said something that I think most of the family members probably agree with, that he should, you know, there should be some sort of reckoning of the information. I think that's the part that's bugging me the most. You know, I understand, you know, like, you know, everybody knows that Bill Thompson and all those investigators absolutely kicked ass getting all the information that they got over the years. And by the way, was anybody following the Delphi replay thing that I'm doing? I'm playing the trial transcripts, but I have it being read by Speechify, and it's pretty good. I mean, for the people that are listening to it, isn't it just like absolutely simple to follow along, even if, no, it's just one voice? And in that case, the part that's really bugging me right now in that case is, hey, thanks, Ted Bundy, is the part about the car. I mean, when you had that surveillance footage from the Hoosier Harvest store, how come you didn't try to get each vehicle completely identified and then do a search in that small community for that kind of a car? You know, it just, wow. I mean, the only person that had one of those, that vehicle, was Richard Allen. I mean, if you had just done that, it would have led right to him. And that's not even Monday morning quarterbacking. Doesn't that just seem like the most basic thing in the world to do, you guys? When you have a surveillance footage and you have a car type driving at the exact time that you were suspecting a car, wouldn't you look up to see if that car... that's the part that's just mind-boggling, crazy, Looney Tune stuff. It doesn't even make... It's just... like, the jurors are the ones that ask those questions. Hey, thanks, Amber Maiden. Yeah, so anyways, you know, like Bill Thompson and all those guys, they did work hard and they got it done. I wish, you know, Bill Thompson had communicated way better with the family to let them know what the options are, and, you know, sort of hashed it out and, you know, made sure that, you know, the decision was something that all of them, or the majority of them, wanted. You know, what I don't understand, no matter how you try to explain it to me, I don't care that in Idaho that they don't have the ability to, in Idaho they if somebody's going to plead guilty, that's all they have to do is plead guilty, and you can't force them to tell them the story. But I'll tell you what you could do is say, okay, yeah, we're absolutely willing to allow you to plead guilty. Now, we aren't going to force you to, break down everything that you did. All right, and we're also not going to force you to tell us where you put the knife. However, the deal is off the table if you do not tell us that. And the reason why, Brian, is because we're protecting you. We want to make sure that you have information that only the killer would know, and we need to know those facts so that we can go out and feel certain that we are charging the correct person. All right, so if you could please give us that information, then we'll do the deal. If you don't, then we're just not going to be able to do it. It just feels like there was a way that they could have gotten it. My goodness, stop. Right. I don't know what that means. I don't know what my goodness stop means. I don't know what, but if you don't tell us, no deal. Right, I just said that. Right. So you would tell them, we're not going to force you. However, in this circumstance, we aren't going to be able to allow the plea deal unless you tell us where you put the knife and you walk us through the details of the case. All right? Doesn't that make sense? Yeah, I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, Dixie Hippie. I think it's insane. It's ridiculous. And by the way, see, I know this isn't real numbers here, because watch this. See that? The Bart Simpson haircut? See that? Those little numbers like that? That means we don't have anywhere near this. I don't know what the number is, but it's definitely not that. That's not natural. I think some troll out there does something, but YouTube, every time I show it to them, they don't know what the hell that is. They just think it's natural. They go, oh, that's normal. And I'm like, what do you mean that's normal? It's not normal. That's... Hey, thanks, Michelle Durante. Especially when you only have 1,108 views, but there's 3,000 watching. Is that possible? Well, I guess so. If it's sort of like the Elantra, where everybody has 2.5. Huh? Oh, I got somebody on Kick. Put a comment in there. I'm streaming on... I'm trying to stream on Twitch, Twitter, and Kick, and on here. I never get any views on any of those places, nor do I know how to do that. I don't have any marketing ability or skills whatsoever. I just kind of rely on, being good, I guess. But even that isn't good enough. What I need is like a producer type person that is really good at all that stuff. For pay too, I'd actually pay, be like a percentage, Yeah, good night, Jeanette. So I'll say what I always say, like, if you're out there and you want to help support the channel, and you can, then I would appreciate your support. Like a super chat, or the what do you call it, the coffees that we have, etc., etc. That's how we survive over here. Sentencing Super Bowl. What does that mean? I wasn't here when Parkland shooting trial was. Now what happens when I go like that? So I was watching where it slides up. You can have it slide up the screen when you do that. I don't know how to do that. I wasn't here when Parkland shooting trial was on. Did you cover that one? That was... I don't even know what year that was. I don't think YouTube was even... What year was the Parkland shooting? Yeah, we also have the channel memberships you can gift to people who can't afford them. That'd be good. Yeah, Parkland shooting. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I did do something on that. Yeah, I think we did. Yeah. I think if you went back in time, you could probably find something that I did. Because now I just looked at the screenshots. I remember it. Why do you ask? Why was it the worst trial? Like, what do you mean? Yeah, that's just crazy. Time just flies by. Thanks, Ralph K. David. Yeah, I mean, like, well, what I was talking about earlier, I just want to say, for example, like, I mean, I don't know if you want me to actually call people's names out, but I know there's so many people that used to be able to support and they're here all the time still. That means they, they like my channel, they just can't, So, I feel bad that people feel that way sometimes. He slaughtered 17. Yeah, I know, but what's it have to do with today's show, the Parkland shooting? I'm just curious. I don't see you, Timothy. Try it again. Oh, try it again. I guess I wasn't looking at it. It should be working. I mean, maybe I just didn't see that you were there. You have to kind of be paying attention to it. Try it again. Let's see. Bryan Kohberger, the masked man who snuck into a rental home near the University of Idaho campus and stabbed 4 students to death in late 2022, is expected to face the families of his victims in court Wednesday at his sentencing hearing. Oh, the impact statements. Okay. Were they? Yeah, I didn't watch any of that. I bet it'll probably be similar but less people. Whether those families... Oh, there. Okay, there. See, you're right there. You gotta... Wait, we gotta fix things. I don't want to do the echo crap again.
Wait, is it echoing still?
Let me see. I gotta turn mine off. Echo cancellation. I got mine on. You also don't want to have your video playing or anything. So how's it going on your end?
No, I don't have my video on, but my mic is on.
All right. Well, there's Timothy on. What's going on?
No, nothing. Yeah, like I said, man, I try to support as much as I can. I have to focus on my finances just for this month. Then next month I'll be.
Well, yeah, no, I didn't really want. That's not. I was just trying to
Okay.
explain to people. I don't want people to feel crappy if you can't. So.
Yeah.
Oh, what, do you have something about this?
Yeah. So what's going on tomorrow? The victim statements are on tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it's the sentencing.
Okay.
But the victim impact statements are first.
What time will that be at? I'm gonna try to watch, but I'll probably be working. So.
Well, it's 8 o'clock in the morning my time.
So it'd be 9
o'clock morning in Boise. So pretty early.
Yeah, I'm in the mountain time zone, so like 9. Yeah, I think I'll be working, but I'll try to play it or I'll watch it later. But yeah, I think he's just gonna have a difficult time in prison, man, because I don't know. He just doesn't fit the profile of, he's a loner type, and those kind of people don't do well in prison, man. Because like in prison, you have to like have like groups of people, and they kind of like will stick up for you and stuff. And I don't know. I can't see him bonding with anyone in there,
Yeah, unless he's in an area where there's other horrendous sex offenders.
Right, which is probably not going to happen. So.
Yeah, and even they would be like, "Well, mine wasn't as bad as yours," and then right. They're just nut jobs.
I mean, did you hear the details of the prison, man? It said it was like one of the worst prisons for like mental health resources and everything like that. I just can't imagine.
Mm.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine him doing well there. It's going to be a nightmare. But I mean, I don't feel sorry for him at all after what he did. So, he deserves
Yeah.
that.
He probably almost would rather have, the death penalty. He'd be like 30 years of solitary. At least he wouldn't be, I don't know if, well, I think it's almost the same, maximum security. I mean, what he's going into now is similar almost. He's got a cell 1 hour outside, something like that. He's not in
Yeah, I
general.
think maximum
He's not in
security,
gen
you're by
pop.
yourself a lot.
Yeah,
I
so it's
think
kind of
I
similar.
just looked it up. I don't know, but I think in maximum security prisons, you don't have much time out of your cell. You're in your cell by yourself a lot. I think in those. So
Hmm. Yeah,
that sucks. But I mean, he deserves it. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
just can't. I
definitely.
don't understand. The only thing I don't understand is why the prosecutor, and the judge aren't trying to push for him to admit like where the knife is and the evidence like that. I don't understand why they're not doing that. They're just like,
Yeah, that's what I keep saying over and over. It's just like one of those things where they had all the cards. Kohberger doesn't want to die, so that's when. Well, we want to plead guilty. Okay, great. In our state, we can't force you to tell us why, so we'll accept your plea. Screw that. You just tell them. In this case, we need you to tell us where you put the knife and walk us through what you did, and then we'll accept your plea deal. Other than that, we're not going to be able to. I mean, you're not forcing anybody. He has the decision to not say, and the ramifications of not saying mean it's going to trial. Because I mean, why couldn't the judge tomorrow say, "Okay, Bryan, I need you to answer some questions for me. Are you willing to do that?" And the reason, Bryan, I'm asking you these questions is we want to make sure that we are putting into prison the right person. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you're going to answer those questions. And if he says I won't do that, then wouldn't it be cool? The judge goes, "That I do not feel comfortable." I mean, he's already signed it, everything, but I'm just saying, that's what the answer should be: is we need to have this information to verify that we're putting the right person in prison. Okay, and then if he says no to that, he's not going to answer. Then you just say we'll go to trial, and we'll let trial convince people if you are or not the right person. That's
right.
how I think I would do it. I just don't understand. It just seems so lame. I mean, whoever came up with this law, you know. I mean, the word, you can't force somebody. I don't know if that's actually the wording. I mean, I would call it compel. I would, compel Bryan Kohberger to tell us what he did, and then that would give him the plea deal. And if he, and the thing is, why can't he? That's
Right,
the
right.
thing.
That's what I'm saying.
If
Why
he's the guy,
can't
why can't he do it? Why can't he say? Because he's going to be in prison for the rest of his life. And the reason he doesn't want to is because he thinks there's a little shot. There's a chance that some judge will come in there, some little wimpy judge, and then take away his right, that he can't appeal, and then maybe he'll have another shot. So he doesn't want to put that out there. So that's when you go, then there's no deal, Bryan. You it sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that's what he's doing. He's just because that's the only card he has left. That he could use that could somehow benefit him potentially. So that's why he's not doing it, which makes sense.
Hmm.
But I don't know why. But the judge would know that. So why? That's what I don't get. That's like, yeah, doesn't make sense.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, it's kind of annoying, but we'll see.
All
But I
right.
have a feeling the judge isn't going to make him do it. So that sucks.
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right. Well, let someone else call in. That's all I had. So.
okay, cool. All right. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.
See you. Timothy Cecil. Come on, looks like we have another one. Hey, it's Shay Shay.
Hi.
Can hear you. What's going on?
How you doing?
Not too bad.
I
What
thought
do
I
you
should
think?
just get on here and introduce myself because I feel like I'm always in the chat and stuff.
How's your audio doing? You don't have any echoes or anything?
No, not really.
Oh, good, good. We've had
Yeah,
that problem lately. Like everybody that calls in, they're like, they hear like 6 of me and all the others like but you have to turn. You can't have your phone on. A lot of people have the video playing, and then they're trying to use StreamYard, and then the audio's like a feedback loop.
yeah. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work on my phone. I thought I needed a computer, but it let me right in, so it worked really good.
Yeah.
Um,
So what do you think about all this?
So I was just calling because like something that I'm wondering is like I watch a lot of the a lot well at my old job used to have a lot more time, but I watched a lot of trials, and some of the trials like they don't let them address the defendant like in their victim impact statements, or they like put like parameters on what they can say to the defendant. So I'm
Mhm.
just wondering, like, I don't know, I don't live in Idaho, so I'm not sure, like, if they allow that there, but I'm just interested to see if he's gonna let them, like,
Hmm.
go, like, gloves off on him or,
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I remember that. Like when Dahmer, I saw impact statements in the Dahmer case. Those guys were, they're just screaming in his face. You know, what do you
yeah.
think? Are you talking about things that they can't say,
Yeah,
or
like, they, like, would tell them that they can't just, like, go in on them, like, and say, "You did this, you did that," but they can, like, you have to, like, address the court. So, like, it would more along the lines be like, because of this defendant's actions, blah blah, instead of like,
uh,
but whereas in the Parkland, I brought up the Parkland shooting. I know it was off topic a little bit, but like the victim impact statements from that trial, which was like supercharged because it was a lot of kids, like they were freshmen in high school, and it was
mhm.
a really messed up trial. Like the things that, ugh, like some of those things like haunt me still, what they said on that trial. But one of the moms, her son was like in the hallway and he had shot him, and then he went in a classroom and killed a bunch of people, and then he came back out, and the son had like crawled into an alcove in the door, and then he came back and like finished her son off. So like he almost like got away or like
Uh,
out of his range, and then so it was really messed up, and she just went like totally crazy on him in court, and like the judge let it go for like a long time. She like let them go hands like balls to the wall on them pretty much, and
nice.
it was
That's good.
insane. So I'm just wondering, I know like Hitler seems a lot stricter, and then like that judge from that trial ended up getting like they almost disbarred her. They like took her out of her position and stuff
Oh
like that.
wow,
She ended up stepping down because it was such a high profile case and stuff. So it
wow.
just seemed like she was a lot newer seeming than Hitler is though. So I don't know if he'll like put parameters like, so those are the things I'm just curious about if you knew anything.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, you just look at Hitler. He does seem pretty like a stickler for the rules. So
Yeah.
I guess we don't know. I don't know what the rules are and like what maybe they can't turn to him and say something. And also, but that's the thing is like Steve Gonzalez, like uh, I think he was, yeah. I mean, in some of the interviews he's done, he said that he doesn't know what happened. I mean, none of them know what happened to be able to go, hey, when you went upstairs and I mean, obviously you went upstairs but they don't have the all of the information so that they can actually say what they want to say at this hearing.
Yeah.
It's kind of lame. And the prosecutor wouldn't do that. Apparently he's going to talk to him later. But why wouldn't you talk to him before the hearing?
Yeah. Well, maybe because he doesn't want them to blow up like too bad or something. But I just feel like they've been treated like shit so long that it's like they're gonna blow up no matter what. You're just making it worse holding it out. Like I just feel
Yeah.
so bad for her dad. Like
Yeah, I
I feel
agree.
it reminds me of like what my dad would be like probably. Like he would just like want to kill that fool, like jump across the counter. Like I would do that for
Yeah.
my kids and shit. Like
Well, that's why I keep thinking. I actually think that, like with him, like I visualize Steve, because he is so angry at everything. He's angry
right.
at the maybe not. I mean, mainly Bill Thompson just for doing this deal, and then also Kohberger. He just hates him. I mean, of course you would hate him. I mean, it's obvious.
Right.
But I mean, you sort of wonder, like that's the part where I'd be nervous if I was a judge, wondering what he might do, or jump over and try to punch him. I wonder if the officer would, oh, I tripped, like, oh, I can't stop you, Steve, and Steve just gets a haymaker in there.
Yeah.
that would
I
be
mean,
pretty cool.
he'd probably go like viral, and even if he got fired, be like set for life because everybody's like, thank God someone kicked his ass. Like,
Yeah, I mean that is true, right? That is true. I mean, GoFundMe, man, that sucker would get up to like 10 mil. Yeah.
I would donate. I'm broke right now because I'm paying for braces,
Yeah.
but I would
Oh,
I would
nice.
scratch it together at payday.
That's funny. Yeah.
All
So
right,
what
well,
else? Any other thoughts or?
no, I thought about taking a PTO day tomorrow because I'm like so into it. I told my coworkers, I was like, I can't answer the phone tomorrow. Like, you guys just have to understand how invested I am in this. Like, so yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it, and I really hope and pray that like they get some closure tomorrow. I know you can't ever fully have closure in that situation, but I just really like feel like if Bill Thompson didn't do something that we don't know about to get them like the answers, then
Mm,
like he should probably just watch his back when he's walking down the street, because I could see like, I don't know, I'd be afraid to be him walking around in public if like he didn't try to make some effort
yeah, somebody might
to,
be upset about it. Hopefully,
yeah.
somebody isn't that crazed about it. Maybe because I think what's going to be coming out, like as soon as this tomorrow's over, I think it's just going to be a flood of these guests on different shows, and they're going to be like detectives and everybody, and all this stuff's going to be coming out.
Hmm.
But what you really want though is the narrative of what happened. You know,
Yeah.
like saying, "Ooh, we think he was." We think that he was the Papa Roger. I mean, that doesn't, okay, that's great. That's great. We
Mhm.
want to know what happened. Why did he pick Madison, and why, how did it all go down? All of his planning, where he put the knife. We want to know all these different things. And when I say we, I'm pretending I'm the families, because I think that's what they want to have. But I mean, me as a person in the true crime community, I want to know all the answers too.
Right. I want to know what that fool did every minute of the day from like the time he planned it to the time he got arrested. Like, I'm
Yeah,
so invested. Like,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I want all the details. And yeah, I hope we get some at least. I know, like, at least the family gets it. Just like, yeah, it's just messed up. It's so
yeah,
terrible.
yeah. All right. Well, maybe watch on my tomorrow. Watch it on my channel. I'll
Yeah,
be
I will
streaming.
be. I always do. It keeps changing my name. I have like 4 Gmail accounts because I have 2 jobs. So I'm an event coordinator also. So I don't know. It keeps logging in me into different like accounts, and then it changes my name, and then I'm like commenting and nobody knows that it's me. So I was like, so anyway.
Let me ask you something. What made you get so invested in it? Just because it's
It
interesting? Or?
was honestly your channel. Like, I came across you, I think in like in a Madeline Soto video. And or maybe it was like an Idaho 4, but I was really into the Maddie Soto case for a while. And I would listen to like reactions to it, like at the gym every morning when I worked out. And then I came across your channel, and I was just like, wow, this is like actually what I want to know. Like, I want the facts. I work in law enforcement, so like I understand like the process. I send cases to the district attorney's office to get prosecuted. Like, so I'm really a like fact person, and I just think the way you go through the case and the visuals and the timeline and the car stuff just made me like really understand the case, to the point where like I just can't watch other channels, I feel like, anymore. It just like ruined other channels for me because I was like, I can't, you guys are
Yeah.
idiots, like this is wrong. And then I just found
Right.
myself
Yeah.
like fighting in the comments, and I was like, oh my god, I'm just like fighting with a clown from
Yeah.
who the fuck knows where. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry about my language, but I'm like,
Yeah.
like the clown blocked me because
Yeah, but that's exactly. I was just saying that at the beginning of the show. I don't even know if you were here, but there's times where, I mean, we here know exactly how. At first we didn't know everything that the launcher was doing behind, but after about like 6 months ago, that other timeline came out, and then we plotted it back in, and we know like exactly what that car was doing, and
yeah,
and basically the timing of Kohberger, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you go somewhere else and you see them talking and they don't know it, and it's just like everybody's like, "Ooh, good idea," and it's not correct. So it
yeah.
gets really frustrating for me to put in the kind of time that I do, and then you see these other people who get all the glory or whatever you want to call it, the views and stuff, and they don't actually know what the hell they're talking about. It's
And
really bizarre.
And it's really a shame because, like, I feel like if a lot of the people were more educated, like, watching a channel like yours, there wouldn't be so many, like, idiots all the time. Like, in the comments, we're just, like, always, like, the mods are great in here also. Like, they get rid of it. I'm also right-leaning, so I was like, "Yes, yes, yes." So, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, I
yeah.
appreciate you, and, I thank you for what you do, and I'll definitely be here for whatever you cover next and as much as I can be. So, thanks for everything you
Okay.
do.
Well, thanks, Shay Shay.
Okay.
Good meeting you in person. All right, have a good
You
one.
too. Have a good night.
All right, bye. Well, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. Yeah, I mean, what she just said is exactly the experience that I have, and it's really, really, really frustrating. And then I show up. Sometimes I'll show up to a show, and then I'll type in what the reality is, and people go, "Shut up, Gray. This isn't your show. Your show." And it's like, no, I'm just trying to tell you what the facts are. You have it wrong. Shut up, Gray. This isn't your show. Get the hell out of here, man. Yeah, it's just really bizarre stuff. Anyways, thanks, Shay Shay. And thanks, Timothy Cecil. Right. So anybody else can call in too. All right, where was I there? It doesn't give me a sound or anything. I didn't realize this guy just died. Oh, Ozzy Osbourne died today, and this Malcolm Jamal Warner. What happened to him? Oh, drowning. Jeez. I bet he drank too much. A lot of times, drinking and swimming, you drown because you try breathing sometimes at the wrong time. That sucks. All right, so this article says Bryan Kohberger, the masked man who snuck into a rental home near the University of Idaho campus and stabbed 4 students to death in late 2022, is expected to face the families of the victims in court Wednesday at his sentencing. Yeah, I like that laugh. That was pretty good. But again, you guys, if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be fantastic. We're still about a third of a normal goal night. So if you guys have the ability to, that'd be great. We'll be getting up. I'm going to probably start streaming tomorrow at 7 a.m. my time, which is ludicrous for me, but you got to do what you got to do. Might be a long day tomorrow, and then it could even go into the next day. We don't know. He got caught in a riptide. I bet he was drinking, though. Yeah. That's usually how you get. Let's see. On the show, Vinny. I can't believe. Yeah. Hey, send us. There isn't really 5,600 watching. Just look at. See this right here? Does that look natural to you? It went wah, 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 and then down, and then all the way up there. It just doesn't. That isn't normal. And you know how you know it's not? Because look at. There's the total views. 2,291 views. So if there's 5,560 watching, why isn't this 6,000? Okay. So, it's just not accurate. It's not accurate, M10. I've told you guys this many times. It's just not. It's some troll out there doing some kind of bot something or other. I even get on YouTube after these shows and I go, here it is again. And they go, oh, looks not normal to us. Yeah, and chat would be zipping by. It's not. I bet there's maybe, I don't know, 400 people, something like that. Thank you at CCon235. Whether those families will get any answers about why he did it or how he came to target the home on King Road in Moscow remains to be seen. Right. So the judge does have an opportunity here. Will he do it? But Kohberger, 30, is expected to be sentenced to life in prison. Well, it's actually to 4 40-year sentences. I don't think they have the word life like life without parole or anything. It's just 4 40-year sentences consecutively, and then that 10-year. And, for killing Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Ethan Chapin. He pleaded guilty earlier this month in a deal to avoid the death penalty. Right, and why didn't that deal include... God, he will have an opportunity to speak at the sentencing, as will the loved ones of his victims. Here's what we know about Kohberger's sentencing. Mogan, Kernodle, Gonzalez, Chapin were found. Yeah, we know all that. Kohberger, a graduate student in criminology at a nearby. Yeah. Police said they recovered DNA. Yeah, we know. Kohberger's attorneys got the trial moved to Boise after expressing concern. That was their biggest mistake. I think that was, you almost wonder if Ann Taylor, if she saw the writing on the wall, but then she didn't like that Judge was so weak, because she needed somebody that would. Now the hammer's coming down, and Kohberger's got to see this because I want him to plead guilty. So then you get it sent to Boise, and now you got a Judge Hippler type who's totally, way more strict on everything. What do you mean Papa Roger will be a surprise either way? No, it won't be, because everybody's talked about it. It won't be a surprise either way, is what you're saying, right? Skid marks in their undies. Wow, Jesus. That's gross, M10. What was the thing I heard today? It was off. Yeah, it was like Brian Enton. He said something about, they saw him putting garbage in the neighbor's garbage can, and that led to them identifying him and his father. It just didn't make any sense at all what he said. But if you didn't know what he was talking about, it would just sound like, and I think that happens a lot, you guys, in the media. Remember those articles we read last week? That when you read them, they absolutely don't make sense at all. And that's because generally people they don't know, so you read it, and it's just, okay, and you kind of go forward with it. Anyways, police said that they recovered DNA from a knife sheath found at the home and used genetic genealogy to identify Kohberger as a possible suspect. They accessed cell phone data to pinpoint his movements and used surveillance camera footage. Well, they didn't pinpoint anything that night. His cell phone was off. And it says camera footage to help locate a white sedan that was seen repeatedly driving past the home on the night of the killings. And here's something I know is a fact, that most of these big channels out there, they don't even know that the vehicle drove behind the apartment complex. Every time they talk about the case, they have the Elantra coming in and driving back here like this. They don't know that it went back here like this. and it's just weird. How do you not know that? Even in their little stories they tell, they never bring that part up. A Q-tip from the garbage at his parents' house was used to match Kohberger's DNA to genetic material from the sheath. You mean a Q-tip, and it led to the father being identified. So here's the thing that was sort of interesting that I heard I think it's in the book that I was listening to. It's hard to remember where everything came from. But they said that that Kohberger was being visually seen throwing garbage from his house into the neighbor's garbage can, and then sort of repeatedly doing that. And I was just wondering if they ever collected the neighbor's garbage to get his DNA and say, see, the garbage that he threw over here matched him, and then the garbage from the house was the biological father of the contributor to the DNA found on the underside of the button snap of the knife sheath. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, that you're not making any sense. It is me, Mike. All right. The time that was way earlier in the evening. It was like right around 2:00 in the morning when they were all up in Kaylee's room. And when it's all of them, it's all the only people that were up in Kaylee's room were Kaylee, Madison, Bethany, and Dylan Mortensen. And it was Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk that likely were like, hey, let's go to the grub truck too. So they called up an Uber driver, and then they decided not to go. It wasn't Kaylee and Madison because they just ate. All right. So it was Bethany and Dylan. They went up to that room, and then they went off to their own respective rooms after that. And then later is when she heard Xana and Ethan in the living room. So you gotta get those things right, man. Yeah, the books, especially Howard Blum, like he had many errors in the first part of that book. And I don't know about the second part because those are things that we haven't heard of. So it's hard to know for sure. What is this look at? How come I see a bunch of look-ats over there? What's going on? What are all your look-ats in there, you guys? Alley Cake and everybody? I don't know what you're doing. 3 of you typed those in. Thanks, at CCon, and then there's Alley Cake. The emoji button. Just a second. There you go. That's all gone. You can catch that Ethan and Xana were they were in the living room like later in the evening. Dylan said she could hear them listening to music or something in the living room. But it was after the time when right when Madison and Kaylee came home from the grub truck, they went probably up the stairs into Kaylee's room for some reason. I mean, who knows why? Maybe because there's a deck there, and maybe they had the deck door open. Maybe that's why. Later on, maybe the dog Murphy was out barking out there. Who the hell knows, right? But they were in that room apparently, and there's nothing really in that room. But they were, Madison and Kaylee are eating, and then it was probably Dylan and Bethany were like, hey, let's get some too. And so they looked for an Uber that could drive them to the grub truck. All right, we currently only have one channel membership gifted tonight. So it'd be nice if we got some others gifted and we could get, we're about currently a third of the nightly goal. All right, let's see. So we have the Q-tip right there. Kohberger's attorney got the trial moved to Boise after expressing concerns that the court wouldn't be able to find enough unbiased jurors in Moscow, but Judge Stephen Hippler rejected their efforts to get the death penalty taken off the table and to strike critical evidence, including the DNA, from being admitted in trial. The trial had been set to begin next month. In exchange for Kohberger admitting guilt and waiving his right to appeal, prosecutors agreed not to seek his execution. Instead, both sides agreed to recommend that he serve 4 consecutive life sentences without a parole for the killings. Well, there isn't. It's just consecutive. There isn't going to be a parole because he's not going to live to 170 years old, or 197, or actually 202, or whatever the hell it is now. Kohberger's motive and many other details are unknown. If they know why Kohberger did it, investigators haven't said so publicly, nor is it clear why he spared 2 roommates and were home at the time. Cell phone location data did show Kohberger had been in the neighborhood multiple times before the attack. Latah County prosecutor Bill Thompson, one of the things that's weird, it's interesting that I want to know the truth is like the Dateline special says that Kohberger's phone 23 times was within 100 meters of the residence. Except it doesn't say that in the documents. It says that Kohberger's phone utilized the same resources as 1122 King Road 23 times. I've never seen it where it said that it was within 100 meters. Hey, thanks so much. Love the Sun 100. Appreciate your common sense. You have been gifted. Well, thank you. Yeah, we definitely need some channel memberships, though, you guys. So for those out there that can afford it, if you could get those channel memberships for people, that'd be great. Let's see. Cell phone location data show Kohberger. Yeah, Latah County prosecutor Bill Thompson has said that Kohberger used his knowledge about forensic investigations to attempt to cover up his tracks by deep cleaning his vehicle. That part was the only thing that was sort of new, was the extent to which he was cleaning. We all knew that he was cleaning his vehicle, but him saying that he disassembled the vehicle, I mean, that's crazy. What is that? For the Kohbergers out there, what do you think of that? Hey, thanks Dixie Hippie for gifting a membership. Start a wave on the gifted memberships. That'd be great. We'll be live for yeah. I'm gonna be live streaming tomorrow. I'll post a link to the live stream in like after the show's over, and then you just show up and we'll be playing it right here, all right? And we'll actually know what we're talking about when we go over different things that people are saying. Yeah, I mean, disassembling, that means he literally was like, I gotta clean the hell out of this thing. He got paranoid. And can't you guys just picture how it all worked out? See, and I'm just going to go with my theory. I don't care if you guys don't want to believe it, but I think that when Kohberger went in the house and I made a video on how he went in there, perhaps. It's probably pretty close, but who knows what exactly went on. And, I think he left the knife sheath there as a calling card. Okay? Now, I know a lot of you don't believe that or anything. But Kohberger was studying serial killers, so he wanted to do all the cool things that serial killers do. Ooh, I'm Kohberger. So he leaves a calling card, a K-bar knife, like Kohberger, the K-bar killer. It's just like it's classic. Eventually when he would be caught, he thought. So anyways, he leaves it there, and then he goes home. He gets home at like 5, let's just say to his house at like 5:45. And then he calls his dad and mom or mom a bunch of times or twice. And then at like 9 in the morning, he takes off and he heads over to Moscow, Idaho. Now, people think, oh, no, he went there to look for the sheath. I think that's almost ludicrous, really. Why would anybody go back to a crime scene at 9 a.m.? I mean, that is insane. All right. But I think he would have gone back at like 6 in the morning if he was really going to go check it out. But he drives in the area at 9 and does not go into the quote complex because he's not on the 111 King Road camera again, right? He's not on the camera. So then he's driving around. He's just watching. He's like an arsonist at a fire. They like to sit around and observe. They get a thrill out of watching all the firemen. So he was there to see his handiwork in action. But he got like a special kind of joy, a private joy inside of him because there was nobody there yet. So when he was driving around, he realized that he was the only person that knew that there were 4 dead people in that house. And then he goes home and he's like, ooh, that felt good. Yeah. With his thumbs up. Now, if he left the knife sheath there accidentally, I don't think he'd be going, yeah. He'd be paranoid out of his mind. But he left the knife sheath there because he thought he cleaned it so well. He cleaned it all on the top. He cleaned all around. He only didn't clean the underside of the button snap that he forgot. But he thought, with all of his training, that he had kept that knife clean and cleaned the hell out of it. But he didn't. And he didn't know that. So he was, yeah. And then when he's driving home with his dad, apparently, I mean, it almost has to be the case that law enforcement wasn't onto him yet because apparently, based on the information, it wasn't until the 19th that Kohberger's name was given to law enforcement. I don't know I need to get that all. Somebody needs to come forward and tell us all about that. But anyways, when he got pulled over the first time, it was probably okay. The paranoia level wasn't high. He was probably a little nervous, like, okay, Yeah, but then he moved forward, and then he was able to rationalize it in his mind and think that was just a cop pulling him over. But then when he got pulled over again, a few minutes later, his paranoia level would have just soared through the roof. I bet you he thought they're onto me, and his dad might have even have thought that. They are onto me right now. And so when he goes home, I think if he had gone home without being pulled over twice, he wouldn't have been disassembling the car and cleaning it. I don't think he would be sitting in his living room wearing gloves and separating the trash. I think after he got pulled over twice, he realized that he must have left his DNA on that sheath that he thought was clean, or left his DNA some other way. And now he's absolutely paranoid, and he's over at his house, and he is separating the trash, putting in the neighbor's garbage can. He's just absolutely paranoid, taking his car apart, making sure there isn't a speck of blood anywhere. And I think that's exactly how that all went. Except, I totally would accept it here's the thing. Do you think Kohberger would ever admit that he left it there as a calling card, even if he did? Why would he? So let's say he did leave it there on purpose. And, he's obviously, he's got an ego, right? So he's not going to admit that he left it there and that's what led to him being arrested. He'll he'd rather say that it was in the fight and it fell off. So I don't think we're ever going to get to know the answer of the truth of that. Now, if he says yes, then that would be it, because that he doesn't have anything to gain from saying that. He looks worse, like a dummy. So if he does say, yes, I did leave the knife sheath there intentionally as a calling card, and he goes, man, I just missed that one spot, then it's true, right? Because it makes him look worse, and those kind of people don't normally do that. So if he does say that, that would be an indication that it was true. You guys agree with that? I mean, why would you say that if it wasn't? It's easier to say, no, they knocked it off, got knocked off. But you could also argue that maybe he wouldn't want to say it was knocked off, because then that gives power to the females that he hates. So there's a lot of way you could go, but I think if it said that he left it there himself, I think that one outweighs the female angle, because he wouldn't want, his hard work and his, trying to hide the fact that he was the killer to be the reason that he was careless. Nah, he wasn't gagging anybody. Yeah. Nah, he didn't do that, Chrissy. I mean, nobody was gagging anybody. I know that that's a thing that was put out there. I think there was just like, yeah, and so what if it took two hands? What does that have to do with anything? He used two hands all the time. Yeah. All right, we got 3 channel memberships tonight, you guys. Let's see if we can get some more of those. And we're still only at 40% of the nightly goal. So for those of you out there that have the ability to support the channel, that'd be great. Yeah, so does this look like a natural flow for viewers right there? See that? That's what this is. Now it's right there. I mean, just the absolute craziness of it. That's just absolutely not normal. Normally it's just a straight line that kind of goes like that, maybe going up a little bit. Yeah, I know what Steve said. Okay, I don't think anybody was gagged in that house. All right. I think there could have been something where he pressed the knife down in her mouth, on the side of it, the blunt end, or I don't know if there is a blunt. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, K-Bar has a blunt end on it. Of course, he used both hands. I think it'd be stupid of him, though, to go into a house with a K-Bar in his hand, in his sheath, and thinking, oh, I better remember that if this falls out, I better go find it. I always call it the Bart Simpson haircut. Yeah, who knows, Christy? I just don't agree with you, okay? You'll just have to accept that. I absolutely don't agree with you at all, all right? All right, so we got a posted link at the top there if you want to call in and talk about what you think might be going on tomorrow. So here, after Kohberger pleaded guilty, a coalition of news organizations, including the Associated Press, asked the gag order be lifted and the documents be unsealed. Hippler agreed, but said unsealing the documents will take time. That process won't begin until after the sentencing. And here's what I think they need to do. Well, we know that Moscow, Idaho is actually creating a site to put all that on. So that's good. They're just going to put it out there, and I don't think anybody gets anything before anybody else. And then, I think these documents are going to be put out on their website, right? The place where the documents are. So I think the investigative documents will be put out on the Moscow Police Department website. I think the things that we would love to have would be perhaps like the body camera and the dash camera of the police vehicle when they pulled over Kohberger. I think it was in like August, where he was missing his front plate. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is one of those nights where I'm going to have to keep saying, hey, you guys, if you could help support the channel. And I'm not talking to the one, if you don't have the funds, I'm not talking to you. All right? So don't feel bad. Don't feel anything. But when people are watching the show, I know there's people that like to support my channel. And if you can, you can. But it just, every night it seems like a struggle these days. If he meant to leave, why was he looking for a replacement afterward? Because he was going to kill again, as I've explained 100,000 times on the show. Hey, thank you, Cynthia Hagen. Yeah, or he wanted to say, oh, I've already got my knife sheath. You know, just as a backup, hey, there's my knife sheath there. He's left it there. And in case somebody figured out that he bought one, then sure. Thank you, Cynthia Hagen. Yeah, I mean, the thing is I think he was going to leave a knife sheath at every single location. And there would just be, man, there's a guy out there called the K-Bar Killer. And then he thought, wouldn't that be cool? Because later on when I'm arrested, they'll just call me Bryan Kohberrger, the K-Bar Killer. What a nice ring that has to it. No, he left it there, and he might have thought, if these guys are going to be searching for me, if they find out that there's a K-bar knife and it leads to me, I got to make sure that I have one. I don't know. It could mean that. See, my thing is I think it's very possible that it was also just knocked off and he left it there. But I lean towards that it was a calling card just because of who Kohberger is. He was trying to be like study serial killers and looked into all of them and wanted to do all the cool things. Hey, now it says Shay Shay again. All right. Yeah, I wonder if instead of K-Bar Killer, he's Brian the Douche. Okay. I wonder if he'd be more embarrassed that his calling card. That's what I said. No, he wouldn't be. Well, sort of, you just combined two of them. Darth Vader. I wonder if he'd be more. Let's see. I wonder if he'd be more embarrassed if that his calling card got him caught, or if it came off because he couldn't have. That's what I said a minute ago. I just said the female versus the. Yeah, there you go. I can move it up like right there. Let's see. Yeah, I just said the same thing. Would you really want a female to be the reason, and does that outweigh that he was careless when he left the sheath and his DNA on it, if he left it as a calling card? So which one would he choose if he had to say one of them? Mm-hmm. See, look at this graph right here. Look at that crazy thing. So you got the Bart Simpson hair, then it goes way up there to 6,000, and see how it does these little ridges, like doom, doom, doom. It's just so obvious, So it might get to like that level. It's pretty wild. But yeah, we're only at 40% still. It'd be cool if you guys would gift some memberships for people, though. There's a lot of names in here that aren't members, and it'd be nice if they got to become members. Seems very risky for someone taking so many precautions to leave a calling card. Yeah, that's what they do, Caligal. Yep, it's always risky to leave a calling card, but not with Kohberger. He's so good, man. He wore gloves and everything, and he cleaned it all down. Yeah. It's weird how people just can't see the logic there. It's just sort of like it's almost like willful ignorance or something. Hey, there's M10. Thank you. Gifted 5. And that's not rare at all, Caligal. You're incorrect. It's not rare at all, the K-bar knife. Well, I don't care if you don't buy it, Caligal. I didn't ask you for your sort of, you keep pushing it. I'm just saying either one to me is, I think it's like 55-45. 55 calling card, 45 left it there accidentally. But I can make a better case for him leaving it there intentionally than the other way around. Yeah, thanks, M10. Look at that. Gifted 5 memberships. Boom, chakalaka. Yeah. I mean, you got Kohberger, who was learning from a serial killer expert, right? And then he's got his teacher telling him all these cool things. Oh, yeah, this guy, he did this, and this guy did this one. And I bet you he wanted to leave a calling card. He wanted to do all the stuff he learned about. Maybe a signature is what he was trying to do in Ethan when he carved him. So he's going to do a signature, a calling card. He was going to do all these things and plan it all out. Let's see. Knowledge can go out the window in the heat of the moment, especially if it was his first kill. That's a lot of people, man. So if 1% of the population has that, let's see, we have 400 million people. That would be 4 million people that have K-bar knives. Wow, that's a lot of people, especially in Idaho. Now it's 400 million, I guess now. Man, that's crazy. We're getting... yeah. That's a lot of people. Yeah, I think we're getting closer to a real number now. We're down to like 624. It's still going down. It's going down. Did we have a rap name with the rap song? I don't know what you're talking about. It is me, Mike. Yeah, it doesn't. So you'd still have to look through 4 million names who bought a K-bar knife. And he bought one in Pennsylvania, so it wouldn't likely show up. They would have went, tell us all the people who bought K-bar knives in the northwestern part of the United States. Oh, wow. But he didn't buy his from there. He bought it from Pennsylvania. So, I mean, it was, nobody... I mean, what he did actually would work. That's the truth. The only problem is that, well, I mean, I've said this before, but if he if he had only left the knife sheath and his DNA wasn't on it, they might have found that there was this guy that had a wide launcher, his phone was turned off, and then worked backwards, and then they'd see that he ordered, that would have been a really strong circumstantial case, even without the DNA on it. Without the knife sheath altogether, let's see, if you didn't have, we've worked through this many times, but if you didn't have the knife sheath and you still had the Elantra driving around and then you had his phone records, you could make some sort of a case. But if you only had the knife sheath and no Elantra video, I think that'd be a very difficult case, because then, even if it had the DNA on the knife sheath, because that's where the touch DNA argument would work better, because you say, hey, there's no evidence at all that he was even around. So a jury would say, yeah, I don't know, man, I don't know. But when you combine it all together, that's what makes it really strong. They would have, they definitely would have got it, because, they would have worked through with the Pullman and police, and they'd say, yeah, well, we have this vehicle here, and they would have found it. He registered his vehicle, so they would have had a 2015 White Elantra, and they would have done what Delphi didn't do, and they would have looked up a 2015 White Elantra in the general area, and it would have pointed to Bryan Kohberger's vehicle on that campus, and then they would, maybe look at other things, and then they would have seen the August time he was pulled over where he's missing a front license plate. So they're starting to, okay, wow, that's really interesting because the Ridge Road camera shows that he's missing a license plate at 401 when it's driving by this vehicle. Okay, wow, so that's a 2015, it's missing a front license plate. That would probably be probable cause for a judge to let them look at phone records. Then they'd see that he turned his phone off at 254 right there in Pullman, Washington, and then a White Elantra drives by the the cannabis shop, Floyd's cannabis shop, at 3:02 in the morning, and then you start tracking this Elantra moving around, and then his phone turns on after just south of Moscow near Blaine at 4:47. 4:48, and then you see this car driving around this whole time doing loops. So I think you could still make just an incredibly strong case, even if he just had if the K-bar knife alone with no DNA on it makes the circumstantial case huge. Okay, you get it? Like, it makes it way stronger because just look at it like the K-bar knife. Now you know it's a K-bar knife, right? So then you look into Kohberger after you've already done all that other stuff that I just mentioned. You would then see that he purchased the exact same make and model from Amazon in Pennsylvania just 3 months before he went to Pullman, Washington. And see, that adds a dramatic effect to it. And then you say, oh, wow, look at Dylan Mortensen saw this guy with a balaclava. Look at that. He purchased a balaclava at Dick's Sporting Goods in January of that same year. I mean, don't you guys find it interesting that he started purchasing, for lack of a better term, his kill kit? I hate that term. The same year as the killings. Like, he purchases the balaclava and he purchases the K-bar knife all in 2022. I mean, why didn't he buy that in 2019 and just happen to use it? That means he was sitting there planning, getting it ready. Thanks, Shay. Hey, well, $2 is $2 more than I had a minute ago, Shay. So thank you. That's right. Yep, every dollar counts. So that's what we need right now, is a wave of some sort. Come on, everybody, let's do a wave. Hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button. 10, 25, 30. Do a wave. Get some more memberships. Do something. Mike makes a lot of knives. It's a common brand. Hubs has 3. Oh my God, Sandy. A thumbnail for a Kohberger popped up on my recommended, titled, "Was Ann Taylor in on it all along?" Oh man, that's awesome. Was she? They probably watched my video where I was saying Ann Taylor the whole time wanted to plea with Kohberger. Oh, now we're at 294, you guys. Look at this. This is crazy. That's probably the real number. Hey, thanks, KMTX. All right. You want to see the craziest looking graph you've ever seen in your life? Look at that. Wah, 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 wah. Then wee, and then Ann Taylor looks like a genius next to Bill Thompson. I don't know. I mean, Kohberger got the second worst that he could get other than the death penalty. See, Shay said, but not everybody doesn't have to. But if you can, this would work pretty good. Everyone do 2. Let's go. Yeah. And thank you, Rob Thomason. Yeah, Rob Thomason. Man, I wish we'd go back to the old names that we had on there with all these @ symbols. It's hard to, but I guess it makes it so you can't be a troll as easy as you used to be able to, because they would just change their username and go all over the place. And oh yeah, you're in Sherwood, cool. I was taking a look at that case. Remember that one in? Hold on. Let's see, what was it? Melissa Jubain. You guys remember that? There's something really weird about that case. That's the one in Oregon. It's actually not far away. It's over in like Beaverton area, where the nurse that worked at Providence, and she was in her apartment, and she was leaving in the morning, and a neighbor across the street grabbed her and killed her, and was just like cut her into pieces. I think desecration of a corpse, and put her body somewhere. And they've arrested, everything's sealed. The probable causes sealed, everything. I mean, the trial was supposed to happen. Now they've delayed it a little bit. I don't know, man. That's a weird one. That's a crazy. I want to know what's going on in that one. Or is it like abuse of a corpse or something? Now, that's the Notorious Nance. We went out there together. Yeah, I just looked at it today. It sort of, story popped up. They delayed the trial. I want to know what the hell's going on. I mean, that is something really weird is going on. Yeah, I know it's still sealed. I just said that. That's what I absolutely just worded that same thing. Yeah, I've done missing people. The only problem is nowadays you can't really just cover random cases because nobody watches. It used to be I could cover anything. I'd get 300 or 400 people, and it was cool. But nowadays, if I ever jump off topic, if I get 150, it's a miracle. Everybody just wants to go over what they want to go over, and yeah, that's great. Okay, the missing person. Yeah. Hey, so what did Kohberger do today? I understand the interest in it. I mean, I'm just as interested. Sorry about that, Shay. You're joining me up on the show there for like 20 minutes. Yeah, that'd be cool to go to that trial. That's this. Let me show you. Yeah, this lady right here. Missing newlywed nurse found dead. Another nurse arrested. So this guy right here. I mean, his name is Schubert. What the hell? I had his name up there. Bryce Schubert, 27. So this guy right here. I mean, man, we remember that we walked right in the same area here. We went right to the apartment complex right here. But somehow, like, this girl had just got married 10 days before to her husband who's in the military. And she's a nurse. And she's just leaving in the morning, and he abducts her, grabs her in the hallway, and kills her in his apartment. This guy. He's just like a Kohberger type. I mean, he's an absolute nut job, this guy. Crazy. They first charged him with second-degree murder. Now it's first because they know that this guy killed him. And I think they're looking at other cases. They're probably tracking where this guy came from. He is pretty young, at 27 at the time. But man, there's something really creepy going on in that one. I mean, you're talking about they've completely sealed the probable cause because they said it would affect something. It's like, I can't remember what it was, but that makes you think that there might be something else going on that we're just completely unaware of at this time. Yeah, he could be. He could have been like he's starting off as a serial killer. Maybe he's got a few under his belt. Don't know. All right, we're currently at, let's see, about 60%, you guys. So if we need another 20 channel memberships or so, and then we reach the goal. I know that's a lot, but I'm just telling you what the numbers are. No, the neighbor is the killer. Shay Shay. Yeah, the neighbor's the killer. He just lives across the hall, and when she came out left for go to work, he grabbed her and he killed her. And like the judge said that he was like had like there's wording that he used. I don't know if it was like depraved indifference or some kind of thing where it seemed like she may have been able to live, but he didn't let her, and then it was pretty crazy. Yeah, I covered it. Yeah, for a few days, really. And it just got sealed up, and yeah, I don't know if it was the same I don't know if it was the same program or not. They were both nurses already. It wasn't a. Yeah, I remember the Dahmer one. She yelled at him. Yep. Yeah, you didn't need to send it to me. Yeah, that's a good name. The Monster Next Door. That's the book, Timothy. That's the book name. The Monster Next Door. Hello, Natalie. I know North Enigma or I don't know how to say it. The Rise of the Incels. Well, this guy doesn't seem like he should have been an incel. Oh, yeah. Let me just look at this one. So this is what this, I'll just read what this says right here. You guys interested in this really quick? I mean, it says, an Oregon, this is from September 2024. An Oregon woman who went missing and is suspected to have been killed by a neighbor last week at Kitsap County ties, or had ties. It seems longer ago than that. After the body of 32-year-old Melissa Jubain was found last Saturday, police in Beaverton, Oregon, arrested a 27-year-old man who was then charged with murder in Washington County Circuit Court on Monday, according to a statement issued by the Beaverton Police Department. Jubain, who had been living in Beaverton and working as a nurse, went missing on Wednesday, September 4th, after her colleagues at Providence St. Vincent's Medical Center reported that she did not show up for work, the police said. Central Kitsap School District confirmed that Melissa Jubain graduated from Olympic High School in 2010, and Kitsap Sun Archives indicated that Jubain attended Fairview Middle School previous to that and later graduated from the University of Washington. A spokeswoman at the Naval Hospital in Bremerton confirmed that her husband, Brian Letourneau, is a physical therapist and medical service corps officer assigned to NHB and has been stationed there less than a year. Letourneau's mother, yeah, so they just got married, these two. The case has garnered national media attention since last week, when search parties among friends were initially organized in wake of Jubain's disappearance. Beaverton police initially performed a welfare check on Jubain's apartment on the morning of September 4th, which included a search of her apartment. So what's weird about it is he somehow got her out of the apartment after he killed her and brought her down to the parking area and got her out in his car because her body was found elsewhere, I think. Police then said extensive search led to interest in a neighborhood in the apartment complex. Or neighbor, not neighborhood. In a neighbor in the apartment complex, Bryce Jonathan Schubert, who was arrested on Saturday. Jubain's body was found the same day. But I think her body wasn't, it was found in some woods somewhere. Schubert was arraigned in court on Monday in charges of second-degree murder, first-degree kidnapping, and second-degree abuse of a corpse. Police have not offered further details about the investigation, and the court records remain sealed by order of Washington County Judge Elizabeth Lemoyne. That's pretty wild, huh? Let's see what this one says. These are just from today that I put in this, or yesterday. I put in this folder. So this is this year. The man accused of killing Beaver nurse in September 2024 appeared in court early Monday, this is February, afternoon for a procedural status hearing in the case. Bryce Schubert, 27, is facing charges of first-degree murder. Now it's first-degree, not second. Kidnapping and abuse of a corpse. Charges in the death of 32-year-old Melissa Jubain. She'd only been married 10 days. He already pleaded not guilty to all charges, and then his next procedural court appearance is set for mid-March. A grassroots organization of Filipino women has spearheaded efforts to be at every court appearance Schubert makes. So that's him in court, and that's her right there. I mean, it's just wild. Melissa Jubain was first reported missing on September 4th after missing her shift as a nurse at Providence St. Vincent's Hospital. But hey, guys, are we going to be able to reach the goal tonight? We need some more channel memberships, and we have 0 coffees, I don't think. I haven't seen any. Maybe there is. We do have coffees in there. Let's see. We've got... sorry about that. I didn't see these. I got one from Tim Walls. You know that's Ted Bundy, right? And then Lisa Valenzuela. And then Florence White. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. For a few coffees there. And then also Debbie with some coffees. So thank you. I guess I can't see him because it's on that small window there. Got a mini wave going. Let's keep it up. Yeah. It did sort of happen for a little bit there. Let's see. Melissa Jubain was first reported missing on September 4th after missing her shift. 1 week before her death, Jubain married her longtime partner of 10 years, Brian Laterna, on Oahu in Hawaii. In the course of their search for Jubain, Schubert was quickly linked to her death by authorities and taken into custody. Officials said Schubert lived in the same apartment complex as Jubain at the time of her disappearance and death. Additionally, according to a Providence spokesperson, Schubert was briefly employed as a Providence Portland Medical Center nurse from September of 22 until October. So he hadn't been working there for a year or so. But Schubert was not employed at the Providence location where Jubain had worked. So there's really no connection. So far, most details surrounding the case have remained sealed from the public. However, a court document filed by prosecutors in October claimed that Schubert had been deliberately cruel. That's what I was looking for. You see that? He was deliberately cruel in the final moments of Jubain's life. Like, how do they know that? Man, that means she may have been able to live, and then man, that's a creepy comment, man. That sort of gives me a chill just reading that. According to the document, which listed a series of sentence enhancement factors, Schubert used a weapon and posed a threat of actual violence, which resulted in permanent injury to Jubain prior to her death. Oh, man. So that means he gave her something, like he cut something. Oh, man. So yeah, what I'm getting from this is that, hey, thanks, Trudy. Trudy Burgoyne, thanks for all your hard work and insightful knowledge. I do think BK left the sheath on purpose as a calling card. He's full of himself. I totally agree. Yeah. But like I said, it wouldn't shock me either way. I just think it's weird when people can't see it. I think he may have cut part of her body off while she was alive. What do you guys think of that? I mean, that sounds like that. Deliberately cruel, and then said that according to the document, which listed a series of sentence enhancements, Schubert used a weapon and posed a threat of actual violence, which resulted in permanently injury. So, a permanent injury means that it's something that's probably something cut off the person, because that's something you can't put back, right? So, it's a permanent thing. Like if you stab somebody in the arm, it's not really a permanent injury. It would heal. You could sew stuff up and everything. This feels like he removed something, which resulted in permanent injury to Jubain prior to her death. So he obviously had her suffering before he killed her, like torture. That's insane. Prosecutors also claimed that the degree of harm or loss attributed to the current crime of conviction was significantly greater than typical for such an offense. Wow. So that means he went above and beyond. So that's like what serial killers do. Like a signature, things that weren't necessary to complete the crime. That's almost what they're saying right there. Right? So it says, that wording is almost how you refer to a serial killer. The degree of harm or loss attributed to the current crime of conviction was significantly greater than typical for such an offense. Additionally, prosecutors said future efforts to rehabilitate Schubert will not be successful. Do you guys hear that? That they think this guy is a psychopath, and serial. Those are really frightening statements that they're making. Future efforts to rehabilitate Schubert will not be successful, and there is a need to ensure the security of the public. Wow. So they already know this guy is not going. I think they think he's a serial killer. I do. This is really a crazy case, man. I know nobody knows about it because it's in Oregon, for God's sakes, but and as soon as I started talking about it, we went from 295 people to 268, and I'm sure people will keep weeding out after that because, like I said before, if you don't keep talking about the case that everybody wants to talk about, your channel suffers. After the release of the document, I haven't seen that document. Does this go to it? Can you find that one, Notorious Nance? That's him right there. Huh. I know there's a website. I don't know if you have to ask for it or what, but man, it's crazy. Anyways, I will definitely be looking into that later. But man, I think that the way that stuff is worded. So basically, what they're saying is it seems like he cut a part of her body off, and whatever he did was way greater than needed to be done to kill her, and he has no chance of being rehabilitated. Wow. Wow, you got a nut job here. Schubert. Maybe, I don't know what he was. Anyways, I guess we're not going to get to the goal tonight, huh, guys? It's just all we got to get is, let's see, we need 19 more gifted channel memberships. I don't know how. I think I'll pay her doc at Wash. Wasn't it on that website where you just get them, or do you have to get it? Oh. Well, maybe you can. Well, tell me if you can find it. If you get it, I'll just send you back the money. Yeah. I think he cut out her eye or, yeah, something. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? That's why he was a nurse. Yeah, I want to. Unfortunately, it's just see the thing is you guys, I got to make my channel has to be successful and generate the revenue to survive, right? So if I cover these side cases, nobody's here, and you go, "Ooh, it's so interesting, great," but you guys have seen it, right? I mean, look at tonight is tough, you know. I mean, I don't know what the hell the deal is. It's wild. It's just unbelievable. Very, very frustrating. I mean, the goal that I set, by the way, is the low is like, it isn't even close to like a normal number. It's just sort of like something acceptable to survive for the night. And we are not even hitting those numbers. It's weird. Order and pay. Okay. Yeah, you look into it. AC definitely was. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to get going. I'll see you guys in the morning at, I'm going to get up at 7, see if it works. Maybe tomorrow's show will be better. Who the hell knows? But definitely going to be covering the whole thing. So why don't you guys show up in the morning and we'll just start covering it. 7 and then 8's when it'll start streaming. And I'm just going to kind of relax the rest of the evening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. So thanks to Flojo, Robin, Jeanette Bassett, Charolina 12, Dixie Hippie, Nancy KC, Flo Joe, Sandy Shirley, Banana 88, 2 months. Then we had Ted Bundy, Michelle Durant, Ralph David, Joseph Brennan, DDWN, 13 months. KKRCDS, my Vespa, Eve Loves God, 15 months. Then her at Ccon 235, Alley Cake, Love the Sun 100, Dixie Hippie, M10 gifted a membership. Then Cynthia Hagen, then M10 gifted 5. She's trying to make things happen. Then we had Dixie Hippie, Shay, KM Texas 78, Rob Thomason, and then Trudy Burgoyne. And then we also had Lisa Valenzuela, Ted Bundy, a.k.a. Tim Walls, Florence, and Debbie on the coffees. So very cool, you guys. Hope tomorrow's a better day. You just never know these days. It's totally unpredictable. So thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a specter with a vector on his pector. With all respect, ya, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda.
I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody. Talk to you.